Hi guys, printing off a new part and Fusion 360. This one my son designed and he reckons that took him about an hour. So what is it? It's a central spigot or hub for a CD player. So we got a Sony CD player, bought a second-hand one, and apparently just shattered. It has three ball bearings in three corners. So he's measured out the angles and he's basically created two cylinders. And if I just rotate this, you can probably get a better idea. So he's created two cylinders, hole down the middle, and then three holes um, either side. He also did some other bits, but this is the bit that we're trying to print out. It's very small, as you can imagine, because the center of CD, where this CD mounts onto, is quite narrow across the body here. Um, Interesting enough, when I tried to print this in Cura, for some reason, and I really don't know why, probably to do with the material flow and other factors, it's just too globular would be a good way to describe it. Whereas sending it directly to Prusa Slicer, even though it doesn't look as elegant with these sort of fractured edges, um, this is the actual object as it looks. You see, it's quite a light piece of work, really, in terms of, if this were printed in metal and it was done, yeah, it'd probably come out probably sharper. But yeah, so I've had a couple of goes at printing this, and I probably need to experiment a little bit more with the settings. Um, but that is the overall structure of it. And I put an extra couple of top layers in, so you can see here on the object settings, I've got one bottom, um, layout 0.25. If you wanted finer grain control, in fact, the having a 0.1 millimeter, for example, would give fine grain, but then the heads are kicking around longer. And if the head is around longer, moving up, it's also heating more, which is counterproductive because it then starts to melt the surrounding PLA because you're doing a finer grain. So then you've got to work out cooling, head cooling, bed temperature, and it's pretty complicated actually. More complicated on these smaller objects than you think, as I've discovered. And I think that's why I've been struggling with Cura, because I've been using a 50% infill and 0.1 layer height, but it's been very blobby, I think best description for it. So I've just gone for a fairly fast print, 4 minutes, and surprisingly, that's printed out relatively good to what I would want it to print. I got two top layers, two perimeters, one bottom layer to fill in the bottom, and that looks like it's going to come out okay. So just some horses for courses, really. When you're printing out really small objects, and this is a very small object, you have to be quite cautious in terms of, or moderate with your printing speeds as well as your temperatures and other factors. So anyway, that was his design. I thought he did quite a good job of that, and he's becoming quite a young master, I would say, of Fusion 360. We're having a lot of fun together, and yeah, other things I've been doing, I've been finishing off my Knucking Futs glider, so paraglider, and that's coming on really nicely. I'll upload a video of that later, and it's looking really nice, and it's going to fly like a rocket ship. So I'm quite pleased with the production results of that. So anyway, look out for that video.